So far, all the paths I've talked to you about have been very individual. Evil paths, hunter paths, self-understanding paths. All of these are just focus on oneself. A really sort of selfish way of seeing the world, don't you think? So what's the next step after self? The group, yes. But what's the most primitive form of the group? Follow the Pope, follow the leader. So I will talk to you tonight, about the path of Lilith, the path of Caine, and the path of Typhon. Yes, Caine, as in Cain and Abel. You really don't know much, do you? Cain was the first vampire, the mark of God, the God himself put down on Cain was the curse of vampirism that flows through my bloods to this day, keeping me alive. Or so some of the legends go anyway. Anyway, Lilith. You know there are 2 stories of creation in the Torah, or the Old Testament, as you call it. Yes, then they contradict each other. In one case, man and woman were created together. In the second one, Adam was created first. So what's the obvious solution to this? Well, the first woman wasn't Eve. The first woman was an equal of Adam. And what happened to her? What happened to Lilith? Well, she was cast out. Allegedly because she wanted to be on top during sex. Imagine a woman wanting that. Anyway, so she followed a path of pain. And the Lilim to this day want to emulate that. To be teachers, torturers and lovers to each other. To indulge in sensuality and pain and liberate themselves in that way. Sharing it with all others. Gathering students to them and torturing them into enlightenment as well. It is a really erotic path to look at, one has to admit. A really crazy one to suffer through, though. Then there are the path of Cain, which has an official side, which is about mastering the vampiric condition by getting closer to the first vampire. And they have certain premises about how to master this vampiric condition. But what it is in practice is an obsessive search for lore about Cain, any scrap of information, any sort of piece, any rumor about Cain, about the first city, Enoch, the second city, the antediluvians, anything that Cain might have said, thought, fucked or fought. Yes, that is what they obsess about, and they share it, and they hide it, and they talk, and they talk, and they talk. Now, I don't think myself that Cain ever existed, but it is fascinating that a path founded on going back to such a non-existent being keeps the beast at bay so effectively for so many members of the Sabbat. The Sabbat? You'll learn. You'll learn, and then you'll wish you hadn't. And finally, Typhon, or Set. Now this, again, feels like two paths stuck uncomfortably to each other. The first path is about the resurrection of Set, your standard dying or dead gods, sleeping, blah, 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 must resurrect, blah, 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 servants, blah, 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 bring about the doomsday, apocalypse, you know, all the usual. The second is a more fascinating path about exposing the ties of this world by pushing them to extreme. People think they're not bound by social convention. Show them how bound they are. Corrupt them with alcohol, with sex, with drugs, with every indulgence you can, and then you will see and force them to see the indulgences that bind them. And if you can do that all yourself without losing yourself, then you are truly a master of this path and worthy to master your beast. Now, what has this got to do with Set? Seems not much, but is Set maybe the ultimate controller of the beast, or the ultimate sensate? Is Set the tie that binds us to this world, or is Set the one who will set us free? That is an interesting question, and you can see how us more intellectual vampires while away the eons in debate.